Hi guys, Rachel here. So I had mentioned in my previous video that I was planning on filming a video showcasing some decks for Valentine's Day, because why not? But instead I found a fun tag. So this is a VR to Simply Han. It's called Loveliest Decks. So let's just get right into it. So the first prompt is the Heartthrob deck. Which deck swept me off my feet at first sight? I'm going to go with the Chicken Tarot. This is my newest acquisition, and I just wanted an excuse to show it, and it truly did sweep me off my feet. And I also thought that it's perfect for Valentine's Day. Look at these backs. Oh my gosh, look at this magician. These chickens are gorgeous, and the borders are just perfect. There's like a little egg here and these flowers. Oh my gosh, they're just beautiful. This definitely swept me off my feet. I discovered this deck through BB, over at Pure Red Velvet. She had filmed a deck haul video not too long ago, and she showed this deck, and I'm not even kidding. As soon as I was finished watching the video, I went and bought it. So I've only had it for like a couple of days, and I'm in love. This artwork is stunning and very heartwarming to me. I had a grandmother who loved to collect, ceramic chickens and other sort of chicken decor for her kitchen. I mean, who doesn't love a chicken in their kitchen, I guess. But oh my gosh. Look at this 5 of Cups, the chicken in the rain. Oh, and broken eggs. Oh my goodness. Yeah, love at first sight. Oh, look at this. I think all of the aces are eggs. All right. Try to move a little bit more quickly. Look at the star. 2 of Swords. The Knight of Wands. Oh my God, look at him. Oh my gosh, what vision. Oh, the Devil, a raccoon. Okay, so that was the Heartthrob deck. I think I'm going to have a ball with that. All right, next is the Hopeless Romantic deck. Which deck feels the most dreamy and romantic? So this was tricky, but I decided to go with the Sistine by Rose Bay. Love this deck. Because, yeah, I mean, look at this. What's dreamier than being on a magic carpet in the sky? With a little angel here. And roses. There's really nothing more romantic than roses. Look at this. Castle. And this looks straight out of old Hollywood. Fantasy. This deck is another one that, for me, connects me to my past in a very dreamy way. It reminds me of the hope that I used to feel as a younger person before you get all jaded and everything. Not that I am anymore, but you know, you're a certain age and you have all these dreams and anything is possible. And as you get older, you have to make certain choices. You have to hone in more on what's most important and what you have time for. Not that things aren't possible at any age, but this deck really helped me rediscover aspects of myself that maybe got lost along the way. I love this King of Wands. Oh, Princess Di. Gorgeous. Yeah, to me, it's just so dreamy and romantic. Okay. Moving on, what do we have next? Okay. The Soulmate deck. Which deck do I feel the deepest emotional connection with? There's so many decks that I could choose, but I wanted to get this video filmed so that I can post it either tonight or tomorrow, because tomorrow is Valentine's Day. So I'm going to go with just a couple here. I chose, for Soulmate deck, Morgan Greer. This is actually a second copy. I'll get into that in a minute. This was one of my first decks. And this is all in order because I purchased a second copy. This was printed in like 2004. So this is the same printing as my other copy. And I just love it so much that I wanted a backup. And some of the cards in the other deck got bent up. But yeah, I mean, this I have a deep emotional connection with because it was one of my first decks. It was the first deck that I bought for myself. I had one other deck that someone else had purchased for me, sorry. And whenever I pull this out, it has this smell to it, even though this isn't the deck that I was using in those days. It still has a similar smell. It makes me think of the beach and my daughter when she was a baby and a toddler, and the path of self-discovery that I was on in those days. Discovering tarot for the first time, the books that I was reading, the music I was listening to, and also the disintegration of my marriage, but that was necessary. Yeah, this is all in order. I don't know where my copy is, actually. It's around here somewhere, and I couldn't find it, but this one was sitting there on the shelf. So, yeah, it's the Morgan Greer. I'm sure many of you are familiar with this. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I plan on filming a video tomorrow or the next day, and I'll be talking more about this deck. But the other choice for Soulmate deck would be the Unasa Yaus. This is the current edition. I thought I missed out on it, and I didn't. This is a Marseille-based deck, and It's just one of the clearest readers for me. Aesthetically, I've mentioned this before, it's so me. If I had been a younger person, because as a teen, I didn't own any tarot decks. But if I'd had my choice of any deck, this would have been one of the decks that would have made my heart sing. I don't know exactly what it is that makes it read so intuitively for me. But every single time I do a reading with this deck, I'm able to read it in a way that I can't with any other deck. Not that I don't have a special connection to many of my other decks, but this is special. And I really love her write-up of the cards that you can find on her website. I have it printed out somewhere. I actually have to, I have to pull that out again and read through it. Because it's really smart and profound. And I have, I think, 4 different editions of this deck. That's how much I love it. So, of course, I mean, if you have 4 different editions of a deck, and they're not always very easy to find, it's probably one of your soulmate decks. Okay, moving on. The self-love deck. Which deck helps me reconnect with myself and practice self-care? This one is tricky. There's so many decks I could choose. I went with just a couple to show you. So the first is the Serpent Fire. I have a couple of different editions of this deck. I think this is what, the 7th edition? Oh my gosh. Okay, so this card right here, I almost chose this for another prompt in this tag. I drew this card some years ago one morning, and the Tower is one of my favorite cards anyway, but something happened later that night, and it was not good. It was very, very bad. And regardless of that, you know, I did think to myself, yeah, okay, yeah, I drew the Tower, right? And the coinciding cards sort of backed that up. Regardless of all of that and the pain that I went through, whenever I draw this particular card from this deck, it feels like a warm hug to me. Because, I don't know, I felt somehow like the universe had my back. And also, it was a lesson to me to take better care of myself. To never allow myself to find myself in that situation again. I wasn't going to allow anyone to hurt me in that way again. And it helped me value my identity more, because that's really what was being attacked, was my identity. But yeah, this Elizabeth Taylor as Cleopatra, it's very aesthetically pleasing to me. But aside from, you know, my connection to the Tower, there's just something about this deck that makes me feel good about myself. It's empowering. It's very feminist, and I don't know. It's another one of those decks that sort of like this with the Sistine. It recalls certain aspects of myself that maybe are submerged and I need to bring to the surface more. And it's inspiring. It helps me with writing prompts. It's good for all sorts of things. And another very good intuitive reader. All right. And the other one that I chose is the Playful Heart. Look at these backs. Perfect for Valentine's Day. Yeah. This is another self-love deck for obvious reasons. I probably don't even need to explain it. But look at this death card. So I drew this card today. So this deck was very mean to me today. But I appreciate it so much. I just love it. Like this flower is on its way out and the falling petal. And here's new life. There's a little tear, but it's so sweet. Why are these upside down? I don't know. I don't know what to say about this. It hasn't been said already. But how is this not like a self-love deck? It's a picture book deck for me. As you probably know, I like to film my picture book deck videos, and when I'm really sick, like when I have a flu or something, I love to sit in bed and look through golden books and things, and it's that sort of comfort that you need when you can't really tax your mind too much. It makes you feel like your mom is there with you or something. And this deck is a total picture book deck. But it's also very deep. Okay. What is next? The Power Couple Combo. My favorite tarot and oracle deck pairing. All right. So I don't know. I don't do pairings too often. Like I go through phases of doing it, and then I won't do it for a very long time. But lately I've been pairing the Void Tarot with the Purgatorium Hex. And I also pair this with the Shakespeare Tarot, by Chris Leach, but I forgot to bring that in here. And I don't know if I have the space. It's a very big deck. So I'll just show these two very briefly. And I don't remember why this became a pairing, but I think it was just because since like November, I've been using a lot of my darker decks, my gothic decks, for the Gothlit November reading tag that my friend Bailey and I created. And I just can't stop talking about it. And this deck, viewer, be warned, this is not for everybody. There's some very disturbing imagery, and I'm not going to get into too much of it here, because I did just show this pairing not too long ago. I think it was in, I don't remember what video it was. It was probably my decks of 2024, like my favorite decks of the year. I don't know. I find this so aesthetically pleasing. It's gorgeous. And I thought that this paired with it very well. And this has one of the best little guidebooks on the planet. And I'm not going to read any of it because, I don't know, I feel like I just did that. But I don't know. This has just been a favorite pairing. And like I said, I pair it alongside the Shakespeare Tarot as well. I'll usually draw 1 card from that deck, 3 from the Void, and 3 from the Purgatorium Hex. And I don't know, they just play very well together. And oh, look how beautiful that is, the Hermit. And the readings have been really profound. And although this deck is very dark, it's also very cheeky. There's a lot of humor in it that I really appreciate. Not for everybody. Definitely not. All right, I'm going to move on. But that is a favorite pairing of mine. All right, what is next? The Secret Admirer, a deck I don't use often, but secretly adore. All right. I'm going to go with Tarot of Aphrodite. There's plenty of decks that I should use more often. I'm going to go with this because I think it's perfect for the season. I originally bought this deck. Here's the beautiful edging and the backs. Because I was thinking of it for my daughter. She loves Greek mythology. Isn't this beautiful, by the way? And she loves Aphrodite. And there was a sale. But when I showed it to her, she was like, oh, it's nice, but I don't really think I'll use it. And I thought to myself, well, that's okay, because I probably will. And I'd seen this deck around a lot. I didn't think I was going to buy it. But, oh my gosh, when I pulled this out of the box, I was blown away. The clarity in these images, the production, like everything about it is just top notch, I think. And I love the borders too. I think it really suits it. I think I've done 1 or 2 readings with it, but I haven't had it too long. And I was really invested in all of my decks that were companion pieces to all of the literature that I was reading. So this deck hasn't really made its way into my practice yet, but it is, oh, it's beautiful. So yes, this is a Secret Admirer deck. Look at that. Love it. And the other one is the Goddess of Love Tarot. So, this deck, for whatever reason, I haven't really worked with yet. And I've owned this one for, I don't know, I don't remember when I got it. I didn't get it right when it came out. I love these backs, but I thought it was another one that's obviously perfect for Valentine's Day. And I love these red borders. I love them. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I think they're killer. I love red, and it would probably be fun to edge this at some point. I really love this collage work. What's not to love, right? I mean, I mentioned how I love the Sistine. It's a little similar, you know, with the color palette and the roses and everything. And I know this is tried and true with many people. I just haven't really worked with it yet. I mean, the truth is I just have a lot of decks. I have a lot of decks. So look at this Two of Swords. Gorgeous. Love that. I don't know, maybe I will start using this soon. Maybe I'll leave this out. But I wasn't using it for a lack of connection. I've just been busy with other things. Oh, look at that, Sekhmet. Oh, it's a volcano. I love volcanoes. Oh, my stomach is growling. I don't know if you can hear that. Why am I hungry though? It's so weird. Okay, what is next? Sorry for talking to myself. The the Forever Love deck, if I could only keep one deck, which would it be? Okay, so I can't really answer that. I'll show you a couple of decks. So if you know me, you know I love the Thoth, however you want to say it. It's all good. You guys all know I'm a Thoth person. I would probably say it would probably be this. Okay, it would probably be this. But, I mean, that's so obvious. And I want to show you other things. Another obvious choice, if you know me, you know. So I won't go over this too much. But the Vampire Tarot by Robert M. Place. And this is a deck that I've been using a lot lately. I use this all the time anyway. And I recently brought the guidebook back out to read again because I'm rereading Dracula. And I thought the guidebook for this deck was brilliant. He goes over the synopsis and the main themes of Bram Stoker's Dracula. And he also talks a lot about the mythology of the vampire and, you know, like the anima and the animus being the driving force behind the vampire theme. It's amazing. It's amazing. So this is another one that I wouldn't be able to part with, because why won't they reprint it? I don't know. And I use this deck all the time. But the third one that I'm going to choose for Forever Love deck is the Adapt Tarot, because this deck, it checks all of the boxes for me. I love the size. I love the feel. It feels like, I don't know, like a real deck. That doesn't make any sense. I know. I guess what I'm trying to say is it just feels like something older, something from the 70s or 80s or something. I even love the borders and the font and the white space. And it's so me. I love collage. And it ties in the beauty of the world with ancient history and flowers and, I don't know, all sorts of symbology that really resonate with me. And it's a deck that makes me feel like I'm looking at a picture book. I think Honey Lou had included this in her picture book decks videos, and it's so true. I feel like I'm looking through National Geographic as a child or something. I mean, look at this, 3 of Wands, gorgeous. It also, I've mentioned this so many times, it works alongside my dreams. It helps me recall dreams that I've forgotten. Maybe it affects my dreams, I don't know. I've had readings with this deck that are so profound that I've just sat there for the longest time staring at the images to a point where I feel like I'm inside the card. I've had readings that have left me shaken and crying, but in a really good way. And it's really inspiring. And it's uncanny. It's uncanny too. It's eerie. It's so eerie. I can't describe it, but some of the readings that I've done with this deck, they're like messages. Like this card I have memories with. It helps me solve problems, which tarot is supposed to do that anyway. But yeah, this is definitely one of those Forever Love decks. Oh my gosh. Love, 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 love. Okay, so the last prompt is the love letter card, a card that feels like a love letter to myself or someone special. So for this, I almost went with the Tower card in the Serpent Fire deck that I had just talked about. However, Robin over at, I think it's Robin's Reflections, she had shared a tower card from a different deck for this prompt. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool and strange, because I was thinking of the tower too. So for that reason, I came up with a couple of different choices. So one would be, I know, maybe an odd choice, but I don't really know if I thought this through properly, but I went with the Five of Cups from the Morgan Greer. And I know, like, the Five of Cups is not, like, the most pleasant card to get. But you have to understand that for me, this was one of the very first cards that I ever connected with. It was years and years ago, and I really didn't know anything about tarot. But most days I would just shuffle this deck and pull out a few cards and see what I would get. And almost every single day I drew this card. And I read the little white booklet and I'm like, well, that doesn't sound so great. But obviously, do you have to really read the meaning to have like the message conveyed for you? I mean, look at this. For me, it was obvious that I was incredibly homesick. I had moved away from my friends and family in Buffalo, New York, and I was living in New England. And even though I was married and had a child, I was like the loneliest person on earth, or that's how I felt. So I don't know, it's a love letter to myself because it just made me feel like somebody gets me. I don't know, like this deck gets me. Whoever created this deck gets me. Other people feel this way too. And I was totally okay with staring at the truth. I was okay with confronting it. So I just love this deck, and I love this card, and I think it's beautiful, beautiful Five of Cups. It draws heavily from the Rider-Waite Smith, but in its own way. And I love the coloring of this sky, this beautiful slate gray with these clouds and these ruins in the background. And it inspired a piece of art that I had created during these times. So for me, you might not agree, it's a love letter card for me. And the other one that I chose is from Tarot of Vampires. And it's the Six of Swords. And another strange choice, I know. But I remember going through some very difficult times and being in a car at night and feeling so stressed. The situation was so heavy. There was no escape from it. And I remembered I closed my eyes and I saw this image from this deck. And it was a card that I hadn't connected with or really understood the true meaning of until it suddenly came to me when I closed my eyes in that car as a passenger at night. And the message clicked for me. It's like this perfect objectivity that allows you to rise above whatever situation is at hand. However, it's objectivity blended with morality, because the morality keeps you human. It keeps your heart beating at the same time. And this deck is just amazing. It's a Thoth-based deck, and if you read the meaning of the Six of Swords in the Thoth deck, that's it. So for me, this image comes to mind sometimes when I find myself, facing adversity or unpleasant situations. All right, so I think that's it. I think I fit all the prompts, and thank you to Simply Han. This was a fun tag. I was looking for something for Valentine's Day, and I hope you enjoyed. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye.